Hey guys, what's up? It's Rachel back with another video, and in today's video I wanted to talk about Colourpop. On my channel, if you're new here, I have done a series where I'm like, let's talk about Urban Decay, let's talk about Too Faced, and I talk about the thing that brand is really known for. And in this case, Colourpop is really known for their Super Shock shadows or their palettes. I feel like Colourpop has just blew up and it's like a really big thing now. And a lot of the reasons is because the palettes are very, very nice for a very affordable price. And you gotta love that. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Recently, I made a Colourpop order and I ordered a ton of their palettes to the point that I am so overwhelmed with my collection that I am like on a no-buy when it comes to palettes. Which is not a good thing because I recently signed up for BoxyCharm and I know that they give palettes all the time. And it's like a palette in every box. And recently I went through my collection and I had pulled out palettes that I want to use at the moment. Like I have so many palettes to the point that I can't keep using the same ones. I need to go through and rotate and like actually use them all. So that's what I'm going to do. I think that's going to be my next video. I'm going to show all the palettes that I'm using at the moment. But for now, we're going to talk about all these Colourpop palettes because I ordered a ton of them. And I already had a few, so I kindly am familiar with the formula. And I know that I really do like them. I remember when I went with my husband to New York, I took the Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette. I use that palette a lot. I really love it. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with this video. I will say a lot of these palettes, if you've watched any of my videos, I can never pronounce the names the right way. And sometimes I don't even say it because I don't know the names, but just bear with me. We're going to go ahead and get started with the palettes. We're going to start with this stack right here. The first palette that I got is actually a new one to me, and this is the palette with Becky G. I really can't pronounce it, but this is what it looks like. This has been all over Instagram. It's very, very pretty. A lot of these palettes, I pretty well got the whole collection of Colourpop palettes. I'm missing like 3 of them. And I would have picked them up, but they didn't have them in stock. This is what the palette looks like. Again, this is the palette with Becky G. Very, very pretty. I'm really excited to play with these. All of these palettes have a mixture of shimmers and mattes. And here recently, they've just been doing like a lot of fun, bright colors, so I'm very excited. You do have pops of color in this, but this is very muted as well, so it's just going to be very pretty for... I feel like this palette works for the fall and the summer. If you're someone that you go by like your colors, like the themes of the seasons, but this is just very, very gorgeous, and I'm very excited to play with it. So this is the first one. The next palette that I have is the collaboration with Kathleen Lights, and this palette is like her sister to Dream Street. This is the Zodiac palette, and I've been wanting this palette for a very long time. I feel like the reason that it took me so long to get Colourpop is because they haven't come to Ulta fully, the way that they should have. They only have like a few liquid lipsticks and like a few older palettes, but that's about it. And a lot of times when you go in a store, at least in my store, they never have anything hardly. The last time I went there, they didn't have that. They had like a good little amount, like a little handful, but I'd already had all those palettes anyway, so I feel like if they would bring their full collection to Ulta, they would sell a lot more, which I'm sure that they sell already like enough with their website alone, but they're missing out. But this is the Zodiac palette, and when you open it up, this is what it looks like. It's very pretty shimmers and mattes. I'm sure you all have seen this. If you're a big fan of Kathleen, I'm sure you already own this palette. Very excited to play with this. Some of these colors are just very unique, and I know like I say that a lot, but it really is unique. But I'm not going to sit here and say like I don't own these colors, because I have palettes galore. So it is nothing new. It's just this formula is so nice, and the colors are very pretty, so I am very excited to have this in my collection. The next palette is an older one from Colourpop, but this is the Give It To Me Straight palette, and it looks like this. Very pretty. Their packaging, I feel like if you are a makeup collector, the packaging is really going to get you because you're going to want them all. If you line them up, they just look so pretty next to each other. But this is what it looks like on the inside. This is like a muted mauve tone palette with shimmers. This is a muted mauve tone palette with a bunch of those just purpley shades, and this is what it looks like. Very pretty. You have a mixture of shimmers and mattes. Sorry about my camera. I always say that in my videos. It doesn't ever focus the way that it should. But this is the Give It To Me Straight palette. The next palette from Colourpop I have here is the Dream Street palette from Kathleen Lights. Like I said just earlier ago, I love this palette. I took it with me to New York. This is what it looks like. Again, this is with Kathleen Lights, very pretty packaging, and this is what it looks like on the inside. I have used this palette quite a bit. You have a mixture of shimmers and mattes. And when you watch a lot of people's videos on this palette, one of the things that they do say is that the color scheme is very unique, very pretty. This is just a go-to palette for me. I've used it quite a bit, but I really do enjoy it. Again, this is the Dream Street palette. The next Colourpop palette that I have here is very neutral and very basic. I feel like if you are someone and you're just a neutral lover and you want to step foot in with Colourpop, I feel like you're going to want to try this palette. It's all neutrals, it's shimmers and mattes, and you know, you're stepping your foot in and you're trying out the formula to see. I feel like this is the safe way to try out their formula. This is the Double Entendre palette, and it looks like this. Very pretty packaging, and again, you have a bunch of neutrals, you have your shimmers and your mattes, and this is what it looks like. The next palette that I have here is the Element of Surprise palette, and it looks like this. This has a little bit of everything. This has a few purpley shades, a few, like, well, honestly, just one pinky shade. And then it has, like, just pretty colors to add to that, like your golds and your neutrals. This is what it looks like. Again, it's a mixture of shimmers and mattes. The next palette that I have here is a very popular one. A lot of people say that this is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, and I have to agree with that. I feel like if you're not someone and you don't want to pay the $129 for a Natasha Denona palette, the formula on this palette is very, very nice, and you're not, you know, out that huge price tag, but this is what it looks like. This palette is just very popular in general because a lot of people really grab for this color scheme, and it's all warm tones. Again, it's a mixture of shimmers and mattes. The next palette I have here is the Rendezvous palette, and it looks like this. I feel like this one's just very pretty. I will definitely use this one a lot during the summer, but again, it's very universal because they have a lot of shades that you can add into the fall. Very pretty. You can use this whole palette in the fall. It's a mixture of shimmers and mattes. Then the next palette is the Good Sport palette, and this one's pretty newer as well. Again, you open it up and you have your shimmers and mattes. This is the one that I felt was the most unique. Again, you can't really tell because of my camera, but this is the one that really caught my eye. Then the next palette I have is the You Had Me at Hello. I saw the thing where they thought this was supposed to be Kathleen Lights' palette. People would pull back the sticker and it would say something about Kathleen Lights on it and have her name on it. But I don't know really what happened there, but this is, again, this is the You Had Me at Hello palette, and it looks like this. And when you open it up, you have your shimmers and mattes. This palette is very muted. It's more cool toned in my opinion, but it's very, very pretty. And then the last palette from this size of palette is the She palette from Femme Rosa. Very pretty packaging. And when you open it up, this palette just looks very elegant. It's one of those elegant, rosy, not necessarily rosy, but just very like, you know, your wedding type of makeup. It's just very elegant, very pretty. You have your shimmers and your mattes. The next palette I have here is the Disney Designer Collection. I will say that this palette is very boring when you look at it, but I feel like everybody bought this. If you're just a true Disney lover, then you probably bought this just for the packaging. It's very cute. It has all the Disney princesses on it, and when you open it up, this is what it looks like. It's very like, what's that Morphe palette called? It's like, it's very boring. It's just one of the most boring palettes. It's like it has like it reminds me of this. It has like that baby blue and a bunch of browns. It's just really boring. But I did want it in my collection. I feel like the packaging is very cute. And it has, again, if I didn't say it before, it has a mixture of shimmers and mattes. Just a lot of neutral shades, pinky shades, and just random pops. The next palette that I have here is the Chasing Rainbows palette. And I feel like this palette looks very similar to the Rendezvous palette, but this is what it looks like. Very pretty packaging, and when you open it up, it's just a more muted version of the Rendezvous. The Rendezvous has more, like, oomph, as people like to say, to their shadows, but this is more muted, while the other one, like, really packs a punch. Not saying that this one doesn't pack a punch, but I feel like it's just a more muted version. You probably couldn't see any of that because the packaging, when you open it up, it's really holographic. But again, that's the Chasing Rainbows palette. Then I have another collab from Makeup Shayla. And this is the Perception palette. Very pretty. A lot of people was comparing this to the Born to Run palette from Urban Decay. Very gorgeous. I will use this a lot. I love the color selection. Just very, very pretty. Again, it's a mixture of shimmers and mattes. Then there's the Fortune palette. The Fame palette was out of stock, but I did pick up the Fortune. This is what it looks like. Very pretty. I'll probably just end up grabbing the other one at Ulta. This is just another warm tone palette. I'm very excited to play with this. I'll use the crap out of this, I know. It has a mixture of shimmers and mattes, and it looks sort of like the Modern Renaissance and the kind of like the soft glam in some ways. I feel like it's just very pretty. And if you're someone that you wanted those Anastasia Beverly Hills palettes but you didn't want to pay the money, this is a very nice way to go. It even has a dupe for the matte pigment blue brown that a lot of people really love. So again, this is the Fortune palette. Then I have the Through My Eyes I Love Sorry. I always say that name wrong, and I loved her Dose of Colors palette collab that she came out with. I used the crap out of that palette, but this is what it looks like. Very, very pretty, and when you open it up, you have some gorgeous pops. I feel like this palette is going to be very pretty for the summer as well. It has a mixture of shimmers and mattes. Very, very pretty, and this is a newer release from Colourpop. And I have these, like these square-shaped palettes from Colourpop. This is the More palette, and this is the more, like, cool tone, the blue palette. Very, very pretty. And again, this is the 9-pan palettes from Colourpop. And then I have the Soul palette from Colourpop. And this is the more warm tone palette. It has very pretty shades. Real fiery shades. These are pretty intense, if you can tell. Again, these palettes have a mixture of shimmers and mattes. Then this is one that's just very pretty, and it really caught my eye when I seen it. This is the Brown Sugar palette. And it looks like this. Just very, very pretty. Very pretty. I don't know if you can tell because of my camera, it really does suck. Say that in every video. And then you have the Ooh La La palette, and this is more of a pink tone palette with some pretty like mauvey, rosy, pinky shades in there, and again you do have shimmers and mattes. Very pretty. And then the last two palettes that I have are another collab. This is the Bretman Rock collab. This is the lip palette. And I had to keep the boxes because he was on it. I thought it was cute. I feel like that was a waste to throw it away because they didn't actually put him on the palette. They put him on the packaging. And if I can get into it, this is what the lip palette looks like. This is the Warm Tone Fiery palette. This is what it looks like. Again, you have a mixture of shimmers and mattes. Very pretty packaging. Very pretty packaging. And this is what the outside of the lip palette looks like. And then you have the Wet palette with Bretman Rock. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell because my camera, it really does suck. And this is the Wet palette, and this is what it looks like. Very pretty packaging. Even the box packaging, very pretty. And then you have your cool tone blues. I like the idea that he done a more warm palette and he done a cool palette, and he made them smaller. I really like the idea that I feel like the pigmentation is great on these shadows, but not only that, you have everything that you need in one. So these are very nice for travel if you want to take the warm one or the cool one, or you want to take them both. Very, very nice. Very good idea, and I really do enjoy this, and I'm very excited to play with these. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, like I said in my next video, I'm showing all the palettes that I'm going to be consistently using because I've been going through like my palettes on like new ones that I need to be using. I don't want to keep using the same ones because I do have so many. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.